Our esteemed, our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Mridang Shukla, distinguished faculty members, and the student of Matrix. Dear students, Matrix is dedicated to elevating the management competencies of MBA graduates by imparting contemporary knowledge and emphasizing the latest developments in the field of management. In pursuit of this vision, our director, Professor Dr. Satish Ubade, has launched the four-dimensional lecture series, a unique initiative that invites renowned experts from various academic and industry domains to share their insights, thereby enriching student learning and employability. Today, we are privileged to host our guest of honor, Mr. Mridang Shukla, a highly experienced startup ecosystem enabler and Chief Executive Officer at DPU Foundation for Innovation, Incubation, Entrepreneurship, Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, and Pune. With over 15 years of professional experience, Mr. Shukla has supported more than 70 startups, cultivated expensive mentor and partner networks, overseen multi-core CSR projects, and driven collaboration between government and corporate entities in the innovation sector. His leadership encompasses role in both academic and industry, where he has provided impactful mentorship, fosters job creation, and promoted strategic growth for aspiring entrepreneurs. An engineer by qualification, Mr. Shukla brings a blend of technical acumen and strategic vision, supported by international publications and esteemed certification in technology transfer and incubator management. He is widely recognized for his collaborative spirit, unwavering commitment to innovation, and dedication to nurturing talent within India's dynamic entrepreneurial landscape. I, wa- I warmly welcome Mr. Mridang Shukla. Uh, all student, I request to all students to turn on their cameras as we will be capturing a group photograph for attendance purpose. Everyone, Mohit sir.
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Mohit sir. Okay, students. Okay, thank you. And once again, a heartfelt welcome to Mr. Mridang Shukla.
Thank
Over
you, sir.
to, yeah, hand over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I need that brief introduction what you gave about me in this podium from there's the most descriptive things which I ever wanted to hear from someone actually, because this is not something which is just written down and given to you, but this is your own creativity which you have found out from the internets and things. So I request you just send us a brief introduction about myself which you just narrated. I'm grateful to you for such a brief, nice introduction, actually,
Thank
because
you, sir.
that's what who I am, a facilitator to the startup ecosystem. Can you switch off the, switch on the slides, sir?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, if you could share the slides. Very warm welcome to all the students at the 11 o'clock. It's almost half a morning we have passed, and a good time to have this session in a fresh mood because you already had a breakfast. And as this is for the attendance purpose, you are in a school and the college now. So you have to be sincere. You have to be a good receptor, and I indeed have to be a good professor for you all. So definitely, I'll try my best to explain you the situation of a startup. So what are a startup? What is a startup? And how you can start your entrepreneur journey. what makes a difference of an innovator and entrepreneurship. I'll explain you each and every details of it. I'm honored to be part of this forum and part of this as a professor imparting an knowledge to you in terms of an early stage startups. If I could see the slides which I have shared, sir.
Sir, just a second.
Yeah. Are you all able to see the screen which I have shared?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then okay, I'll continue with sharing my screen. Uh, do you find the change in the screen now? I mean, I'm keeping on changing my slides. Are you able to see the changes of the slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So I'll just continue in my own presentation. Still, you are able to see the slides, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. I'll start my session. Now I'll share from my end. No problem, sir. Uh, DPU, I represent DPU Foundation for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship as a Chief Executive Officer. Previous, my engagement was a CEO of PCCOE, CIIL, PCCOE, Pimpri-Chinchwad College of Engineering. CIIL is Center for Innovation, Incubation and Linkages. Just a minute, I am getting a call from Aniket sir himself. Hello? Hello? Okay. Company registered in the Section 8 company as in, and before that, I was an incubator manager in AIC MIT ADT Incubator Forum. That's AIC is Atal Incubation Center. Atal Incubation Center being supported by AIM Niti Ayog, National Institute for Transforming India, and just a minute. Okay, National Institute for the Transforming India. I have created 250 plus mentor and partner network, plus supported 74 plus startups, along with the revenue of 50 plus crore of the revenue of the incubation centers, 75 plus crores of the startup revenues. I hope you are all able to hear me because I'm just looking at my screen and the slides right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Today's topic, so accelerators, incubation, opportunities for the early stage entrepreneurs. Always remember, friends, one thing. Always, whenever there is a topic given to you, any of a topic, you're trying to learn some topic, decimate that topics. Here, there are four different words, five different words total. You need to understand each and every five different words in one slide itself. Once you get to know the theme of the presentation or theme of the topic, eventually half a problem is solved. It is said that half a problem is solved if you note down the problem statement very clearly, right? So accelerators, incubation, opportunities, early stage, and entrepreneurs. Decimate each and every words. First, start with the accelerators. What do you mean by the accelerators? In a simple definition, incubation के बाद accelerators आता है. Accelerators does not talk about ideation, does not talk about prototype development, does not talk about POC. It's all done. Accelerator means now you want a market. You want a market to grow. You are running through the company and your company is registered in some of the city or places. Now you want to expand that. For that, you required and collaborations. You required many things, venture capitalist. Now it is not a startup in the accelerator. It is called as a venture. The Shark Tank, which all you have observed, are called as a venture capitalist. Capitalist, what is the meaning of a capitalist? Venture, well, first is venture. Venture means you have gone through all the phases of your startups and eventually now your final product is ready. Now you want a market. There's a go to market strategies. Those strategies play a role in the accelerators. You want to accelerate the growth of your company, not like in the productions way, but in the terms of a multiple capitals. Why it is called as a capital? What makes a difference into capital and the money? Money is just a money. Capital is they bring all the resources to them. So the Shark Tank which you see, they are not the startups. They are the ventures, venture capitalists. So the capitalists are the person who come into your board, give the equity, take the equity, and give in return the amount of the money based on the valuation of the company. That valuation of the company, when this engagement is done, it is done through the venture capitalist. Next is incubation. Incubation, the basic definition of an incubation, from where does this word came from? Incubation, as in, example, when a baby is born, when he is born and he is not able to survive in this atmosphere or environment, he is kept in the small box. Are you able to understand me? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, meanwhile, please, if the students say yes or no, I get a multiple sounds, it is encouraging for me because I am only right now seeing my screen. That's it. And that is slides, not you all. Okay. So, incubation. Incubation means if the baby is born not able to survive, he is kept in a small box for a few months or the days. So, and it is given a natural, artificial inclinations. Those box is called as an incubator. So that's a concept of an incubation. You as a startup is not able to survive in the market considering that you only have an access. You don't have an access any. You just have an idea. You required from idea to POC, POC to prototype, prototype to MVP. Those all stages you required some support. That support is been given by the incubator, and that's the process called as an incubation. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Only my professor is serious over here. It seems so, not the children's, right? Okay. Are you able to hear me all, or
Yes,
you
sir.
are just muted yourselves, all of you?
So we can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you.
Then please reply to it. Okay? It is very insulting when if someone is not replying to yes or no or so. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
great. Now there comes a second one is opportunities. Opportunities means what are the opportunities from the government and from the other end that gives to the early stage entrepreneurs. Third word is entrepreneurship. What do you mean by the entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurs are the one who takes a risk, capital risk. Those are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs who takes the capital risk. They talk about investments, ventures. Those are entrepreneurs. Early stage, now this has a double meaning to it. Early stage entrepreneurs. It can be the person who can at the ideation stage itself, who just has an idea and going into the prototype development from POC and the prototype development. Those are can also be called as an early stage, but usually in terms of an entrepreneur's, because he is defined as an entrepreneurs, the early stage entrepreneurs are defined as a one who is at the seed funding stage. So early stage entrepreneurs are the one who require seed funding. Now, what do you mean by the seed funding? Seed funding is seed. जो बोओगे वही पाओगे, right? So that means I know what is the future of my product and I'm investing into it because I know the market to it. It is not at the ideation itself. If I'm at the ideation stage, I just have an idea. I don't know what is an output of it because there is yet a long period of the gap which I need to have it before POC and prototype. So it is not a seed stage. Seed stage is अगर गेहूं बोओगे तो गेहूं ही पाओगे. So I know कि गेहूं की कितनी डिमांड है तो उस पे मैं पैसा लगा रहा हूं. That is the seed stage. So early stage entrepreneurs are informed as a seed stage startup where you know. So at the seed stage entrepreneurs will have a connection with the investors. Now angel investors, aggregators, those comes into the picture in the early stage entrepreneurs. They invest into your startup based on the valuation of the company. So there are two definitions to it, the early stage of it. One at the very early stage, giving an support in the terms of an idea, but over here it's early stage entrepreneurs. और entrepreneurs खुद की definition क्या है? The one who takes a capital risk. In the start at ideation stage, they do not take a capital risk, right? They just have an idea and they try to make a product. So over here, it is a funding things. So opportunities. So what are the opportunities for the early stage entrepreneurs that we are going to discuss over here completely, right? Now let's be proud of our. Why it is not changing? Oops. Are you able to change from your end, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, just a minute.
Can I share the screen?
I am doing that actually, sir, but somehow I'm not able to. Just a minute. Yeah, yeah. Now you can see the change of screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we should be proud of our Maharashtra. Maharashtra is number one in terms of a startups ecosystem. 21,000 startups been registered. Amongst top five are first is Maharashtra, second one is Karnataka, the third one is Delhi, then Uttar Pradesh, and then Gujarat. In terms of statistics of it, in terms of registered entity as a startups. These are the certain sectors of it. The top sectors in application development, product development, and IT sectors. These are percentage of this site. These slides I have taken from Startup India portal, and it is been approved by the Startup India things. DPIIT, a Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, is the department as a mantralay who takes checks on the startups actually. Now, let's talk deeply about early stage entrepreneurs. The early stage entrepreneurs are the founders in the seed stage or the early development phase of their business. See, now it is coined the term as a business because they are working and dealing with the capitals, focusing on developing an idea, product, or services and validating market demand to build a foundation for the growth. Key statistics, ideation and product development, market validations, limited resources, pre-revenue and the early revenues, and foundation and the buildings. So those are the common and early words of it, which defines the early stage of an entrepreneurs and their characteristics of it. Most important questions is how do you assess an early stage startups? How do you assess means? What question you should be knowing it before getting into the early stage of a startups. First thing, what problem does my product or services solve for the potential customers? You should have an answer to it. If you think yourselves in the early stage of a startups, and you should have answer to it. Who is my target market? Those all should be well defined. Then you enter into the early stage of a startups. How will my startup stand out from its competitors? That means what kind of a niche or what kind of an innovation I have that is separate from what the other peoples are doing it. What kind of an financing do I need? You should be very defined into it when you enter into an early stage of a startups. How will I taste my product or the services? What skill sets will I need to hire into my startups? What are the short and the long term goals of my business? What taxes will I have to pay for the company? Do I have a startup marketing strategies for the promoting my brand? Do I have enough time to devote to the startup? These all questions are very important to assess yourselves at the early stage of a startups. You should have an answer to all of these questions. I'm not talking about which product you are making it. I'm just talking about in general of every startups irrespective of sectors. Sectors in the sense thrust areas like health tech, med tech, social innovation, digital innovation, agri-tech. Those all are the different sectors of the startups. Irrespective of them, this is a common knowledge for all the early stage startups, irrespective of the sectors. You should have all these questions ready with you. Now, what are this I've taken? I always take a references from the very well-known ones. You cannot create your PPT considering that you have to take a reference of some recognized organization. So one of the my favorite is Vessel Areas, more to discover the 6 stages of a startups, which they have defined it so clearly and so nicely. Can you see the progress of it? The first one, pre-seed stage. We are into over here seed stage. After seed stage, there is an early stage. If you could see then. Why? Because at the seed stage, what you are buying? A seed. While you are buying a seed, sowing a seed, you know what is going to be grown. केला लगाओगे तो केला ही उगेगा. अंगूर लगाओगे तो अंगूर ही उगेगा. Right? So we know कि what is going to be future of this seed. On that basis, you get the seed funding. Not at the ideation stage. This is a pre-seed stage. Now in the pre-seed stage, what are the different layers to it? Laying the foundation, ideation, testing and analysis, validation of hypothesis, clarity of the market need, understanding target groups, and in the seed stage, confirmation of the market demand, financial support, validate your business model. That's a feasibility, validity, everything comes into the seed stage of it. Now, in the early stage, which is called as a seed funding, you are entering into now business as an entrepreneur. As I defined you, entrepreneur is the only one who takes a financial risk. Before that, they are innovator. Innovation and entrepreneurship, दोनों साथ में word आप लोगों ने सुने होंगे. There's a difference to both of it. Innovation does not talk about the money. Innovation talks about the different ways of doing it. Research and innovation. Those does not involve money things at all to it. Those does not talk about the market need. When you are an innovator and researchers, you should concentrate only on the innovation part of it, not to the entrepreneur part of it, because your mindset should be focusing only on the research things, not on the money thing. But when you enter into seed stage and beyond that, now you are an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a person who takes a financial risk. Now you talk about the money and only money. No going back forth on the research part of it and for the betterment of the society, which you have already done as an innovator. Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Yeah, very good. So there are two parts and two phases of it: seed stage and pre-seed stage. Pre-seed stage, you should be researcher and innovator. Seed stage, you should be entrepreneur, because It is now not your only money. Someone is putting a money into your startup. So that means your job should be only to increase the valuation of that company. Got it? Got it?
Yes, I got it.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's an early stage. Then there's a growth stage. Growth stage means you are going to the venture capitalist now. Shark Tank, growth stage, where you are saying, I want 10% of an equity against 60 lakh, 1 crore, 5 crore of the money. That comes for the valuation of the company. And that equity is asked based on the valuation of the company. Valuation of the company means per share ka pricing. When you start your company at a very initial stage, you have to give 1 lakh rupees to the government as a paid up capital. Okay. Now that 1 lakh rupees as a paid up capital is divided into 10. So how many shares you get? 1 lakh divided by 10 is how much?
1,000.
Pardon?
10,000.
Pardon?
It's 1,000.
1 lakh divided by 10, I said. How much?
10,000.
10,000.
10,000, sir.
10,000. So that means you are given a 10,000 shares because you have paid a 1 lakh rupees as a paid up capital. Those 10,000 shares which you are holding it will be divided into minimum 2, because minimum 2 directors you require to establish a private limited firm. Now those minimum 2 directors, it is up to you how you decide the difference of it. 50% or 51 49% or 1%, 0.001% also will do it. And but minimum 2 directors and maximum 200 directors you can have it in the company, in the private limited firm. And one shares is of how much rupees?
10 rupees.
10 rupees.
10 rupees.
Now you are forming a product, you are doing research, innovations, market value. अब उसका market value आएगा और वो 10 रुपए का शेयर का भाव बढ़ेगा. That's the reason why वो लोग इक्विटी जो मांगते हैं वो पर शेयर के हिसाब से मांगते हैं. पर शेयर का वैल्यू इतना है तो मैं 10% आपको दे रहा हूं शेयर्स, और उसके सामने मुझे इतना पैसा चाहिए. वो पैसा जो है वो इक्विवेलेंट टू 10% शेयर्स का पर शेयर का प्राइसिंग है. नाउ यू आर ट्राइंग टू इंक्रीज एंड डूइंग थिंग्स टू इंक्रीज दैट प्राइस ऑफ इट, ऑफ योर पर शेयर. ओके, गॉट इट? सो दैट इज इन द ग्रोथ स्टेज. एक्सपांशन स्टेज, मर्जर एंड एक्विजिशन स्टेज, एग्जिट स्टेज. एग्जिट स्टेज का मतलब है मर्जर एंड एक्विजिशन. Okay, so these are the 6 best stages of startups. More information about it. This is in terms of an incubation centers, and so those were in the terms of the entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and so this is in terms of an incubation centers, such idea, launch, validation and decision making, growth and transition. What you as an entrepreneur does, you do the market research, competitive analysis, naming and branding at ideation stage. And you, how you should feel, want to make an impact, unhappy with the current job or businesses. This is a common thing. If you are doing some job and monotonous job, you think about doing something on your own, and that too a startup. Then what do you think? What is your mindset? This, you are very unhappy with the current job or the businesses and need of a coach or get a new certification. So that's what in the ideation phase you can do. Launch, website, content marketing, word of mouth. For validation and decision, first customers, problem solution fit, product market fit, test a business model and the pricing, growth, automated sales funnel and the product development, management, external investors, and transition. That is a grow, take a public, and sell off. Finally, your passion should be selling off once you become an entrepreneur. Then merger and acquisition. You should not be linking yourselves once you enter into the market as an entrepreneur to get more passionate about it. Your all passion should be seen at the terms of a research and innovation, not at the terms of an entrepreneurs. Because passionate means what? You are carrying a burden now of your own startups by your own. जब तक आप दूसरों का पैसा उसमें नहीं डालोगे तब तक आपकी वैल्यूएशन नहीं बढ़ती है. आप सिर्फ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस करते जाते हो. That's it. No, it is not so. Merger acquisition is essential. So you should be detached from your startup once you become an entrepreneur beyond the seed stage, because you should be craving for more money. Then more the money you make it, the more the happy your investors would be, moreover you also. Okay, so you may not get more money in terms of a profit, but you will definitely get a more money in terms of mergers and acquisition. Recently, the person who lives in my society, True Element, that's a company, True Element. You must have seen the pouches of them, oil-free products and healthy products they are selling off. They sold their company to Marico. Marico is India's best outside company who has invested in India in the food and FMCG. So they sold their 46%, 38% of the shares at the pricing of 138 crore. So they received 138 crore and sold off their company to the Marico industry. This is what you all should crave for. Now, in that 138 crore, he will now open up the new company through the new research and so growth. They got detached. This is what you all should be aiming at: merger and acquisition, right? This separate stages. Now, this is I've taken the sources from Startup India portal. You should always go to the Startup India portal where there is a knowledge resource section where you get all the references, including the presentations and everything. It's the best site ever, Startup India. So Startup India, you should go and visit that each and every sites of it. Ideation, validation, early traction, scaling, and exit options. These are the common source and sources. Now, before going to this slide, where is that slide? Okay, this slide which you could see on that screen, this is the only slide which is talking about the sources of the funding. Startups may at the early stage or early traction may, or even in all the phases of it, this is should be the Gita for you all, or Bible for you all, or Quran for you all. ये slides जो है उसमें सब कुछ आ जाता है. So I'll start with this slide itself and then I'll go back to understand about it. I'll explain you why it is so. First slide, first thing, startup stages of the startups and sources of the funding. That means ये syllabus दिखाता है. आप अगर फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड में हो, इसका मतलब हो आइडिएशन में हो. Ideation का मतलब है pre-seed stage, as I mentioned to you, because still you are now remember in the pre-seed stage you are not getting a single penny of the funding. Remember very well, you remember you are not getting a single penny from external investors or the funding. You should not talk about that at the time of an ideation itself. Ideation का मतलब होता है you are into research and innovations. You should study by your own. But if you need a money, from where you will get that? Bootstrapping and self-financing. It means what? Bootstrapping is putting your own money. Self-financing, putting your own savings. Friends and families. Now there is a common word called as FFF model, triple F model. Triple F models is called as a friends, family, and fools. Indeed, F is fools. So friends and family means आपने उधारी ले लिया, आपने फैमिली से, पापा से, मम्मी से या फैमिली से पैसे लिया आपका काम करने के लिए. एंड फूल्स का मतलब है जो आपको पहचानता भी नहीं है पर विश्वास रखता है आप पे और दे देता है पैसा. तो in terms of a funding they are called as a fools. So friends, family, and fools model. Business plans and pitching events. This you should target it. Wherever there is in competitions or so, you should pitch there. Where the ideations phase or so is that. And you may get a pricing of it. वो जो पैसा आता है, that only are the sources of the funding at the pre-seed stage. Are you getting it all?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Next stage is most important. Now you are through with the ideation and pre-seed stage. Now you have defined it. You want to be this. You want to grow this. You want to build this. अब क्या है आपके पास specific plan है. You have that specific product or services with you. Now there is no scope for the research and innovation. Now you have a specific thing. Now you want to expand it. So that means now it's a validation phase. That is a seed stage. Now in this seed stage, you are liable to get the seed funding. This is an early stage of a startups, entrepreneurs. Now you are an entrepreneur. You are asking for the money. That's a seed stage. Okay, that's a validation. Incubators. Incubators gives you the seed funding. Seed funding through SISFS. If you have heard of Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. Anyone has heard of that scheme? Okay, I'll give you all the details of it. What is SISFS? Okay, so Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. So incubators gives you that seed funding, but against equity. You remember the basic condition for any funding to get it is only and only through equity. Remember, got it?
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it is only through the equity. And equity कैसे कहाँ मिलती है? Only when you have registered entity as a private limited firm. Otherwise, partnership or LLP नहीं कर सकता equity engagement. So you won't be getting any fund over there. You may be getting the loan over there, or you may be getting a collaterals or some other ways to it, but not in equity. So incubator gives that, government loan schemes gives that, but against a specific. The loan they give doesn't give against equity. They give, you need to put on the collaterals in government loan schemes, and you need to return them in terms of an debt or debt linked instruments like CCD. CCD cannot be done, but debt. Angel investors. You must have heard of the angels, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I think most of them have slept or what? सो गए क्या सभी? नहीं ना?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So angel investments, angel investors, you all must have heard of them, right? Now,
Yes,
these
sir.
angel investors, they are just called as an angel, but indeed they are not an angel because they take a lot and lot of equities. They take lot and lot of equities. And this equities, why they take it? Because they are funding you at the time of a seed stage. And at that moment of a time, seed stage, your valuation is not much. So they may give you 5 lakh in return of a 10 or 20% of an equity. It is not a good investors. So angel investors, okay, unless until they are not bringing on to the table other resources, it is not good. Crowdfunding, this is another way to round of crowdfunding. ये share market की तरह ये crowdfunding. There are certain agencies who will put on the money individually और जैसे shares लेते हैं हम individually, वैसा ही crowdfunding होता है. Early traction, Series A funding. Now, early traction means you have. Are you able to see the change in the slides now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
stick to this itself. Early traction. Early traction means what? आपने अब 1-2 रुपए कमा लिए हैं. सीड स्टेज में कमाया नहीं है अभी, बट आपको पता है क्या करना है, कैसे कमाना है. Early traction, that means you have got the traction of it. There is a profit loss statement to your account. You have received some profit to it. You tried selling in Pune and now you want to expand it to the other states as well. So that is an early traction. So in that, now there is no word call as an startup now. It is a Series A stage. It's a venture capital funds, Shark Tank. Now you are entering into Shark Tank. It's an early stage or early traction, Series A stage. Over there, they talk about equity in return of investment. Those are called as a venture capital funds. NBFCs are there and venture debt funds are there, certain. So those are the things in the early traction or Series A. Scaling, scaling in the sense now Series B, C, D, and E. Those are defined in terms of an valuation of the company along with the net profits of it. Series B, Series C, Series D, and Series E. And venture capital funds, private equity, and the investment firms works around here. Okay, there are certain offices, private equity. They take the private equities, investment firms who invest in your startups. Finally, you are now into exit option. Exit option means merger and acquisition. You are merging to the higher company. Initial public offering. Now IPO निकला आपका. Now your company is not a private limited. Once your IPO is out, it is a limited or the public limited company. Okay, initial public offering. That means now you are trying to shares को आप public को लेने के लिए तैयार कर रहे हो कि invest in my shares. That is initial public offering. Sellings and buying and buybacks. That's an exit options. Okay, these are only and only sources of the fundings. यानी कि आप आइडिएशन पे हो तो इन्वेस्टर नहीं मिल रहा है वैसी बात मत किया करना because you anyhow not eligible to get that. Validation stage पे हो unless you have not made a private limited firm, you are not supposed to get an investment a single penny. Remember one thing. तो उसमें मत रोना कि वैल्यू इंक्यूबेशन पैसा नहीं है और सरकार पैसा नहीं दे रही है. You need to be a legal entity at that moment of a time when you are a private limited firm. Early traction, venture capitalist. If your product is not feasible, liable, or viable, but you just kept on moving on, then no investors will give a money to you. And you just have to go through as a bootstrapping thing. खुद का ही पैसा लगा के. Never get attached much to the startups once you are an entrepreneur because there is always a scope for the merger and acquisition. Try to get more valuation of your company and get ready for the mergers and acquisition things. So those are the sources of the fundings. And what are the types of funding? Only three. Remember, equity financing, debt financing, and the grant. Can you all in one voice repeat it? These three types of funding? Bolo. Equity financing,
Equity financing,
debt financing,
net financing,
debt, and grant financing.
and
Right?
grant financing.
Wonderful. The person who have just spoken this is the only man, I guess so, listening to me. Okay, no problem. Rest all have slept. No problem. Okay, so equity, debt, and grant. Only these three types of the startup fundings you are liable to get. As you all are in the business school, so I am talking you in terms of the financing only. Because opportunities for the early stage entrepreneurs are in terms of the financing itself. Equity financing, the shares which I informed you about. You are asking and pardon? Okay, you are asking a money in return of an equity. You are giving them an equity in return of a money. Debt, debt मतलब उधार. आप उधार ले रहे हो जिसका लोन चुकाना पड़ता है. And third one is grant. Grant in the sense granted, which happens in the ideation phase only. No other phases of it. Okay? Which happens grant. Grant मतलब competition में या तो कोई grant देता है. SISFS just gives a grant up to 20 lakh, but not completely all 20 lakh, up to 20 lakh. So in this way, if your product is more towards a social innovation, then you are liable to get a grant if you work and serious things and hard to it. So that's a grant. Okay. Now Startup India funding scheme, funding support. Those are the four Startup India funding supports: Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, SIDB Fund of Fund Scheme, Startup India Investors Connect, and the Credit Guarantee Scheme for the startups. Now, all this I have informed you about. These are the types of the startup finance fundings: equity, debt, and the grant. All this in details for your understanding. I have shared the slides to Sir Aniket Sir. He will share that to you all, and please go through each and every detail of it so that it gets you in your headset and mind. Eligibility. This is the eligibility for you to be called as a startup in India. An entity, this is from the government side itself. An entity will be considered a startup if it has this four conditions, one of the four conditions. If it is incorporated as a private limited company, registered as partnership firm, or a limited liability partnership. Only this three kind of an entity can be considered as a startup: private limited, LLP, and the partnership. Only this three kind. No sole proprietary, no MSME, nothing. No Udyam Aadhar, nothing. Only this three kind of an entity can be considered as a startup. ये जो वर्ड आया ना स्टार्टअप, उसका डेफिनेशन है, गो विद द डेफिनेशंस ओनली. Startup is an entity that is registered and incorporated in DPIIT. Now, on the right side, which you see the blue color mark certification, certificate of recognition, this only is liable to get when you be counted as a startup. Okay. Then you start getting the grants and all things of it from the government. Not before that. This is incorporation certificate for the private limited firm. Only three kinds are liable. Once you get this, once you get the private limited firm or LLP or partnership certification, you go to Startup India site. Over there, within 24 hours, you get this recognition as a startup entity. Okay. Once you get this startup entity, then you are liable to be called as a startup. Otherwise, if you only have a private limited LLP or partnership firm, it is not called as a startup unless you are not having this certification as certificate of recognitions. Okay. Second thing, if your startup falls into either of a biotech or a social sector, or a startup is in biotechnology or the medical technology, then this certification is valid for the 10 years. 10 years, your entity can be called as a startup. But if it is in the social sector, then your entity can be considered as a 7 years. Okay. Now, we as a DPU FIIE incubate the registered startup. Compulsorily, we have an equity engagement. We take 2% of an equity shares with them, but that is a promising of it against the services. Against the services means this all services we promise to provide to them. If you are trying to have an incubation center and you are rendering your services, then these are the services which we provide to them free of cost for the 1 year against the promising equity. So equity, I'm saying it because we only have an incubated startup as a private limited firm. Okay. Partnership firm, the most easiest way to do it, in 20,000 you can do the partnership firm. But over there, the problem is minimum 2 partners, maximum 50 partners. If one of the partners goes off in between, the whole company is gone. You cannot run a company without the registered partners. Everyone are equally liable of the partnership. 100 divided by 2, 50, 50. If there are 3 partners, 100 divided by 3, 100 divided by 4. If one of the partnership goes, one of the partners goes, firm is gone. So no one invests into it. No one comes into it. LLP, Limited Liability Partnership. Limited liability means liability of a partner is limited. He wants to go, he can go. And that equity, that percentage of partnership is distributed. But still, LLP does not have a chance for getting some other partner into that firm through the equity. They cannot do equity engagement, LLP, limited liability partnership. Still, it is a partnership firm. Then it is a private limited firm. Private limited firm means the liabilities are very limited and privately. It means you can do as many engagement as you can. Only authorized capital, authorized partner, who is it, can is the one who decides it what to be done, what not to. Even if he has one shares out of 10,000, then also. So those are the private limited firms rules of it. This I explained you in the detail. Steps of startup fundraising, assessing need for the funding. The slides which I informed you, the first step, assessing need for the funding, assessing investment readiness, preparation of a pitch deck, investor targeting, due diligences and term sheets. Now, this explains all about the capital and managing finance for the startups. Capital refers to the financial resources, including money. And what do you mean by the money? Money is a medium of the exchange, a tool for facilitating transaction. Everything as a definition. Remember, fund. बोलते रहते हो आप फंड चाहिए, कैपिटल नहीं है, दुनिया में फंड नहीं है, इन्वेस्टर नहीं है. First, you understand the meaning to it all. Fund. Fund is a specific pool of the money, often collected for the particular purpose like investments or the grants. Capital funding now. इसका मतलब मनी के साथ साथ इक्विटीज एंड ऑल. Companies capital funding consists of both debt and equity. Financial resources, tangible, intangible assets. Those all things you must be knowing it as you are the business school. So those all things you should be thorough with your mind in terms of a startups as well. For early stage projects, these are some of the funds which are there in the market for the early stage projects. Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. It gives a grant as well as a debt. Grant up to 20 lakh and the debt up to 50 lakh. But in that, you should be an eligible entity, incorporated as a private limited firm, LLP or partnership, anything will do. But they usually give in terms of an private limited firms only. You are liable to get the grant up to 20 lakh. You are liable to get the funds and debts if you are beyond the stage of an MVP, entrepreneurship, against equity, and that too at the repo rate itself, they will take it. Do you have idea about what is repo rate? Do you have idea about what is repo rate?
No, sir.
In which years of the MBA you are in all? Which year of an MBA?
First semester.
No. First, okay. So
Sir,
the repo
repo
rate,
rate is decided by the banks, like by the reserve banks. For the like local banks, they take like loan from reserve bank, so that is the rate which is decided.
wonderful. So proud of you. Huge round of applause for this girl. Huge round of applause. Wonderful. Very good. So
Thank you
the
very much.
repo rate, yeah. So the repo rate is if the Startup India Seed Fund scheme is given to you as a debt, they cannot take the interest beyond the repo rate. Repo rate is what Reserve Bank of India decides it while they give the loan to the banks. Reserve Bank of India gives a loan to the banks. They do not give loans to the public. Now the banks in return, they need to give back the money, including the interest. And that interest, what is decided is called as a repo rate. And that repo rate right now running is 6% of it. So that means you may get up to 50 lakh amount from Startup India Seed Fund scheme at a 6% of an interest rate. That's it. Yeah. Second and most important is big grant, biotechnology ignition grant. Biotechnology ignition grant gives a grant to the medtech social innovation, but based on the medical devices and medtech, agritech, and biotechnology. And they give early stage projects and startups. They give it as a grant up to 50 lakh. So BIREC gives a grant up to 50 lakh. If you are selected in the BIREC, you are liable to get it a grant which is never to be returned. So just understand it how well the government is working in this ecosystem. You just need to be eligible to get that grant. Now over here, how many are participants here? Total number 105. All 105 are liable to get any of a grant. Any grant. Only thing is 105 should be one of it eligible. Eligible is what? First eligibility. You should be recognized as a startup. For that, either private limited, LLP or partnership. Always very welcome to do the private limited. Getting a Startup India certification. Now, through research and innovations, you should spend most of the time in research and innovations than thinking about the money and fancy Shark Tank things. अगर बेसिक अच्छा होगा तो आगे जाके कैसे पहुंचोगे? तो रिसर्च इनोवेशन करके कोई प्रोडक्ट लाओ. नॉट अबाउट ऐप. आई रिक्वेस्ट यू ऑल, वन थिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. This all schemes, whatever I am giving you right now as an early stage project schemes, Nidhi Prayas, incubators and accelerators, they do not fund app based startup. Remember, not a single one will support app based startup. If you are just putting on an app and thinking about Ola, Uber only, no, absolutely no. You are not getting a single fund from anybody. So you should be knowing it. Only the startups which is into the directions to get the funds in the future, you should start that itself. For example, one of my favorite startups, Menstrual Cup. We all know about the menstrual cup. What about if it starts promoting it? Then all the sanitary pads, which is mandatory for all, it it causes so much of the damage to the environment, but it is essential. Now that menstrual cup, if it is so, then one time buy at the 500 rupees is selling it, and it can last for the 10 years unless it is not scratched by the nails and there's no holes into it. So that is a one time buy of the menstrual cup and it will last for the 10 years. Such kind of an innovation, government supports it. That kind of an innovation, you should think of it. And there are two kinds of the innovations. One is a startup as a product, startup as a services. Always startup as a product will get a maximum grants, maximum fundings, because you have a product in front of you. Big no to app based startup, big yes to the product based startups, big yes to the biotechnology based startups, big yes, anything can be done actually. I'll give you so many of examples which is simple ways. Have you thought of a car without a spark plug? Imagine. Imagine someone who has invented just a spark plug, which is essential to start and give the ignite to the car or any automobile. Instead of working for the complete automobile, he just thought of opening up and finding out a spark plug, inventing a spark plug, small spark plug. Can you imagine how much money he must have earned through the royalty, loyalty, and still he must be earning it? That is what you could think of it. Not putting on the money in the production of the complete car, but just a small spark plug. Got it? What I'm saying, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So try to understand that small, minuscule things. Nidhi Prayas, incubators and accelerators. This all gives a fund at the early stage of the project. Okay. Next. For the growth stage, those were for the early stage of the projects. These were the growth stage of it. Angel investors, bank loans, which I mentioned you all, venture capitalist funds, other funding opportunities, crowdfunding, raising a capital from the large number of individuals are usually online. These slides are very essential for you if you want to continue your journey as a startup then, because each and every things are essential and enough for you for the growth and the progress. Wadwani Foundation's learnings which I have, say 10,000 startups, percentage of the funding, 200 startups. Input if it is 10,000 startups, 9,000 out of it, accordingly to Wadhwani Foundations, don't give any returns. Understand it. ओके, फॉर वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट है ये, आप लोगों के लिए नहीं है, वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट के लिए है, यानी शार्क्स के लिए है। शार्क्स अगर 10,000 स्टार्टअप्स में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं ना, तो उनको पता है सिर्फ 200 से ही मुझे अच्छा होने वाला है। तो 10,000 स्टार्टअप में से 9,000 अंडरस्टूड होते हैं कि दे वोंट गिव एनी रिटर्न्स। 800 विल गिव समथिंग, गिव सम रिटर्न्स, और 200 स्टार्टअप ही होंगे जो गुड रिटर्न्स देंगे। Okay, this is how the venture capitalist works. A startup cycle, very well known. This is startup cycle, valley of death and the break even. What do you mean by valley of death? उस टाइम पे जो नेगेटिव जा रहा है ना, उसमें रेवेन्यू भी जाएगा, टाइम भी जाएगा और पैसा भी जाएगा, वो श्योर है। पर एक बार अगर बन गया, दैट मीन्स व्हेन यू सी दैट when you enter into acquire, merger and acquisition, and then it is skyrocketing. ये बस इतना सा है सिंपल सा सवाल कि आपको एक साथ 1 करोड़ मिल जाएगा, पर जैसे बिजनेस में 1 करोड़ कमाने के लिए आपको कम से कम कुछ बहुत सालों का काम करना पड़ता है, उसी तरीके से 1 करोड़ भी इवन स्टार्टअप में कमाने के लिए आपको 10 साल या 5 साल तो काम करना ही पड़ेगा, उसके बाद 1 साल मिल जाएगा। This is what the startup is actually. So at least when you open up the startup things as a career option and be an entrepreneur, you should have utmost patience with you. And that patience, I'm telling you, for at least 5 years. At least 5 years you should be bootstrapped. Bootstrapped matlab self-financing to build up a product, to make the product. Once you are launching the product, people will come to know about it and then put on the money into you. And that money, once you get it, that's enough for you to survive those 5 years of your loss. Those are the certain 12 critical elements. From the reference, I've taken this from the Wadhwani Foundations, the learnings which I have through Wadhwani Foundations. These are the critical success elements of it. Now, this is a key funding inflations of it. These are some of the okay, this is my very good friend in the government of India as a Mantri Sai Naresh, whom I'm connected with, and he keeps on sharing such slides to all of us, the government schemes for the startups in India. And these are certain government schemes, but these are definitely the compliances for them to get the government schemes, DPIIT and startup recognitions benefits. Now, if you have a DPIIT certification, you are liable to get tax exemption for the 3 consecutive years. Second thing, you can if you have that DPIIT certification, then you can have zero paid up capital as well. You can open up the private limited firm with a zero paid up capital as well. There are many assumptions to it. So you are liable to get an IPR support as well. And these are certain schemes to it. All the schemes are very well mentioned here. I end up my now slides for all any questions from you by ending through this slide. Early stage startup will often face these barriers. Operating with the less than 10 employees. Now, here is early stage startups. I'm saying not at the ideation stage. I'm saying early stage seed funding stage. You have not paying competitive salaries to the workers, securing funding from the angel investors or the venture capitalists, and having a small customer base. So those are the barriers which you need to understand, and it is usual about it. Okay, I hope you understood some details of it, and some may not, or some well. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can ask now any of a question. No questions? Okay, this is also scheme for the empowering women entrepreneurs. Each and every word is important here. You can search on the portal itself. by taking the first line of it. Annapurna scheme, Stree Shakti scheme, Dena Shakti scheme. You just need to be eligible to receive this all fundings for the women entrepreneurs. Yes. Any question? Okay, I'll say bye to you all then. Okay. Thank you so much for joining and being patient. I'll take off now and we'll leave now. Thank you.
हेलो सर.
या सर खत्म हो गया कब का?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Uh, on behalf of Matrix School of Management Studies, I extend our sincere gratitude for taking the time to deliver the insightful session on accelerators, incubation, opportunities for early stage entrepreneurs. Uh, your expertise and practical perspective provided immense value to our student and faculty members. So we truly appreciate your efforts in engaging with our audience and sharing your valuable experience. We look forward to your continued association and hope to collaborate with you again in the future interviews. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, and glad to be the part of the business schools. Considering that innovation and entrepreneurship and the startups are the only ways round in the future for the survival. I indeed mean it because the jobs are depleting, and you all businessmen and you all MBA students, they are MBA students, right? BBA MBA students. Aniket sir,
All MBA students, sir.
all MBA
First year, second
students.
year.
Yeah,
Yes.
all MBA students should thrive for doing your own startup. But yes, a big no to the app-based startups because you are not getting a funds through that. A product-based, it's very good. Instead of consultancies and advisory things of it, you should start your own as a private limited firm. There are a lot of leverages what government is giving to you. And as an MBA students, it's not essential that you should do only management-based things, but you can think of agri-tech, you can think of biotech as well, employing a resourceful persons further on. So as a director, you should be knowing all things, but doesn't mean that you only should be knowing all things. You can hire some resourceful person who are into different domains of it. But remember, the future is for the startups, and you will be able to survive only if you are striving to your best for doing the startups in the country, right? Thank you so much, and thanks Aniket sir for
Yeah.
being the nice host. And I'm honored to be the part of this event. And I'll say leave now. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
All the students, please wait.
Yeah, I'll leaving now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All participants, wait. There are 93 participants. Please give feedback on Mrudang sir's session today. Okay, everyone. Total there are 105 participants. I want 105 feedbacks. अगर फीडबैक नहीं दिया तो आपकी आज की प्रेजेंटी नहीं लगेगी. ओके,
Sure, sure.
हर एक ने फीडबैक देना है.